oh, trust me, you want this Back to the Future poster in my background, because without it, it looks like I'm being questioned for a murder. Apparently that couch was good enough of a background for me. Well, it's that time of year. Time to count down my top 20 worst movies of 2023. Why top 20? Because I see too many goddamn movies to do a top 10. But before we get to that top 20, I have one dishonorable mention, which is She Came from the Woods. And yeah, this movie should clearly be on this list, but this movie was so bad and so forgettable that I surely forgot about it after I got out of the theater. Hell, you go watch my review for it, I'm just like, what the fuck happened in this thing? Like, I'm trying to review this, but I can't remember a damn thing about it. So because of that, it's not on this list. So to start off this list, it's a movie that is on here by default because I did not see enough movies that I gave like between a C- or an F. So I had to pick one that I gave like a C or something. So I was like, what is a movie that I gave a C that I actually kind of hated? And I was like, oh yeah, this fucking 3-hour bullshit.
Welcome back.
I hit you with my car.
What?
I know.
So this is Beau is Afraid, and this is a movie that I said I was split on, but here's the thing. It's one of those movies where the good is so overrun by the bad, because this thing is 3 hours fucking long, when it should have been, let's say at best, 2 hours long, but what this movie does in, like, say, an hour, another movie would do in like 40 freaking minutes. But as I said in my review, I thought Joaquin Phoenix did a good job, and it was great to see Nathan Lane back, until I realized that apparently he showed up in Only Murders in the Building, and he was also in Dix the Musical this year, which is a much better movie. If they cut it by like an hour, this could have been a great movie, but they decided to go on for another 90 minutes, so that's why it's on the worst list. And also because it's on here by default. So my number 19 is a movie that I knew going in was going to be terrible, but I at least thought it was going to be fun like its predecessor. It was not.
3 massive megs and who knows what else have escaped the breach.
I just hope it goes better than last time.
Hollywood, again, why is it so hard to make a movie like this and focus on the dumb shit that we want to see? You know, I've been sitting here for the last 2 minutes just thinking, what the hell else do I say about this one? It could have been better. Could have been a lot of fun. A friend of mine, it's his worst movie of the year. I mean, the parts where they actually did the Meg were pretty fun. That's about it. Next movie. Number 18 is Home Alone.
Stop that kid! A little punk!
You know what the judge said after your last arrest.
Last chance, blah, 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 whatever.
That juvenile delinquent has been nothing but trouble since he got here.
Damn it, I meant Camp Hideout. Actually, I got a funny story. So you know how in my review for this movie, I said, oh, the guy who wrote this probably wrote it to cash in on the success of Home Alone back in the 90s. I was close. Apparently, him and his kids were watching Home Alone. His kids really liked Home Alone, and he's like, wait a minute, I can make that. So he did. He made the same damn movie, but at a camp. But despite being lower on the list than the last two, I don't hate this one, and I can see kids getting into it, but there really isn't much in it for adults. Besides Christopher Lloyd, maybe? But I will admit, it was pretty funny when I heard someone come out of the theater saying, oh, they have a sequel at the end. I can't wait for that. Again, this shit is getting no sequel. No one has heard of fucking Camp Hideout. According to one guy who commented on my video, he said something around the lines of, oh, only white people have heard of this movie. He's not wrong. I mean, I saw the damn thing, so that's your proof right there. Ooh, number 17. Okay, so this movie's fucking terrible, but it's one of the funniest movies I've seen this year. And not because it's a comedy.
Rob, wanted to make sure you got one of these.
I have a phone.
You have a personal phone. This is a work phone.
I miss you so much. There's an aching inside of me.
Fuck yeah, Love Again! So, if you don't know what this is that movie where the woman texts her dead fiance's phone number, but it goes to the other guy. And yes, it is fucking creepy, but to say that I did not have the biggest smile on my face watching this piece of shit movie unfold while just ripping on it and having to tell people about it, I would be fucking lying. And a little fun fact, the review I did for this movie on my channel is definitely one of my favorite reviews I have done. But who cares about all that? This is the movie about Seline Dion. It's all Seline Dion. Everything's Seline Dion. Seline Dion, Seline Dion. Every moment, someone is either talking about Seline Dion, singing about Seline Dion, or talking to Seline Dion, or Seline Dion, Seline Dion, Seline Dion, Seline Dion. Well, that's all I got. Now let's move on to the next Seline Dion, Seline Dion. Number 16 is You People. I had no segue for this one.
What's going on? Tell me about life. How are you?
This is your white granddaddy come back to haunt me.
What? Now this is my fault?
Okay, honestly, I'm trying to even remember what the fuck happened in this one. I remember Julia Louis-Dreyfus was like a stupid racist, and that was a running joke through the movie. Everyone in this movie is a douchebag that is very unlikable. I forgot Eddie Murphy was in this movie, to be honest. Give me 1 second, I'm gonna go watch my review. Well, that didn't tell me shit. It was one of my first reviews, so it was kind of crap. So yeah, You People sucked. That sounded fucking racist. The movie You People sucked. Let's move on. Number 15 is a movie that I thought was gonna get a lot of flack for hating on, but nope.
She's entangled our light-based powers, so we switch places whenever we use them.
Strong theory.
Oh, I know why he hated this movie. Because he thought it was woke. Yeah, 3 female superheroes, so he thinks it's woke.
Yeah, that's definitely why I hated the Marvels. I thought it was woke. Not the terrible editing, the terrible villain, and the terrible almost friggin' everything in this movie. I will admit, though, that one thing that I did change my mind on was Miss Marvel, and that's mostly because the other two she's hanging out with are so boring and wooden that she's the only one who brings a lot of energy to this movie. Even though Brie Larson was a lot better this time around. But yeah, this movie, I just didn't give two shits about it. Like, the moment it started, I was like, holy shit, this is gonna be a dumpster fire. This has some of, if not, the worst editing I have seen in a movie this year. It's like, right when it started, it's like, we're right here. But then we jump way the fuck over here. And then we go here, and then we go there, and then we go over here. And then we're all over the place, and blah, 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 blah. This all happens in the first 20 goddamn minutes. It's like, either take a chill pill or get a better fucking editor, man. There's only one scene in this movie that kind of saved its ass, and it was that one scene with the cats, and yeah, that's about it. Aside from that, I honestly think this is the worst MCU movie. Remember back in September when we had so many sequels that no one asked for? Well, this is one of them, and it's, second worst. Definitely not the worst.
Let's fly, baby!
Come on, bring it!
I think it was around seeing this movie that I realized, wait a minute. I don't gotta give two shits in every review I do? Good! Because I did not give a fuck about talking about Expendables. It's like, remember when the first two were like these big comeback movies for all these great action stars? Well, now it's just a $5 bargain bin piece of shit. Actually, now some of this is coming back to me. I completely forgot about this movie until right now. I remember there was a bunch of terrible green screen, the effects. Oh my god, the effects in this movie were fucking atrocious. They are the Flash bad. Except the Flash, I could get behind some of that maybe looking cool if the CGI was done good. But in this, it's a fucking cartoon. There are points where it will go into a fucking cartoon. We just went into some completely different fucking movie. Holy fucking shit, I can't believe I gave this a goodish review.
We need to go. Laura's dead. There's someone else outside. What was that? I kind of want to go back in time and slap the shit out of myself for saying, oh yeah, it's terrible, but it's entertaining. Yeah, but it's still a piece of shit movie. I don't even know if I would find this entertaining like I did the first time around, because the first time around, I watched it with an audience. If I watch it at home again by myself, it's just I'm just gonna think it's a piece of fucking shit. And actually, the more I think about it, I cannot believe I actually saw this piece of shit in theaters. But as I said, I guess maybe if you watch this with people, you'll have fun. But watching it by yourself, it's just gonna be a piece of fucking dog shit. And I
I didn't care for it. I don't care for it now. I don't know if I... Did I care for it then? Someone go back and watch my review and see if I did. Like, did I really give this a good review? I did. I just don't like to admit that I did. You know what? It really feels like this video is kind of a mess, but you know what? It's the worst movies of the year list, so if they didn't care, I don't care. Number 12 is that Dinosaur movie you completely forgot about.
I don't know where we are. I've located one survivor.
Pew pew, pew pew, pew pew. Ah, Dinosaur. Oh no, run. Ah. That was 65. Nothing fucking happened in this movie. Like, apparently humans evolved on another world or some shit. It's The Last of Us with dinosaurs on prehistoric Earth, and they spoiled the entire movie in the advertisements. Like, the big twist is that it's Earth 65 million years ago. That was fucking stupid. Honestly, I just don't care. I don't care about this fucking movie. Honestly, let's get to number 11, because I do kind of want to talk about this one. So, fair warning for anime fans. Some of you might get pissed at what I just chose for number 11, because when I first saw this movie, I thought, yeah, I've never seen the show that's based off of, so I'm just gonna be nice and give it like a C+ or whatever. But then I watched it again for another video and was like, holy fuck, this is the most boring fucking movie of the year!
よし、それじゃあラージャ小王国に向かって出発だ。俺たちは毒に侵されているという国。
This is... oh fuck. That time I got reincarnated as a slime Scarlet Bond, and I screwed up my L in Scarlet and accidentally put a T. So it looks like it says Scarlet. Yeah, it was really weird when I watched this again, because I remember it being like fine and a little insane that I kind of enjoyed it, but then watching it again I was like, it's just exposition, just constantly talking. Like, they don't do a lot of fighting in this movie. They do at the end, but here's the thing. When they get to the end and they're like fighting and whatnot, they will cut back to other people having a goddamn conversation about some fucking bullshit we don't care about. And if you've seen either of my two videos on this movie, you'll know that I mentioned this one character who is a little girl with pink hair who wears a thong. And so I decided to watch a few episodes of the show, but I was like, this is just not for me whatsoever. But I had to make sure I found the episode where she shows up, because I needed context for her. And the only context I got from this is that she just shows the fuck up, which leads to one of the creepiest lines from the little slime ball, where he says, "Damn, she flat. She's a child, you sick bastard!" And it makes it creepier when the slime ball is it's not a little girl. The slime ball is a girl, but it's a dude's brain in the body, a 37-year-old dude, and so that makes it even fucking creepier when you're saying this little child is flat. She is a little girl, I think, and I just said girl, like Gru from Despicable Me. Oh, I'm just ranting. Was there anything I liked in this movie? I mean, the animation's good. I kind of like the video where I ripped on it. Kind of. I don't remember it much, to be honest. But if you like this show and this movie, good for you. I can honestly understand if you enjoyed Beau's Afraid a lot more. But, yeah, this is honestly probably one of the worst anime movies I've ever seen. Because I haven't seen many, like, really bad ones. If you have any suggestions, let me know. But, yeah, Reincarnated Slime, the Scarlet Bond, which, again, I don't know why it's called Scarlet Bond. That's like, it's not a thing in the movie, it's not a character or anything. It's just a second title, I guess. Let's move on. Now we've made it to the top 10. You know what that means? Time to switch sweatshirt. That's a tongue twister. But no, actually I'm just shooting half of this a day later because I just got tired after the first 10. But to start off the top 10 is a movie I completely forgot even came out this year.
You hear this? Ladies, he's worried his immigrant father's gonna make him look like some kind of Goomba.
Right, listen, if we're gonna do this, Dad, you gotta dial it down with
With all the this, what is this?
One of the funniest comedians right now, huh? Well, if that's the case, this movie didn't prove that whatsoever. I don't get it. Last year seemed to be the year where we had a bunch of movies about making movies. This year seems to be the year where we have a bunch of movies about meeting the parents. Best thing I can say about this one is that, Robert De Niro was in Killers of the Flower Moon after this. Oh, fuck. I was giving my crap about giving Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey a decent review, but at least in that I said it was bad. This next one, I gave a legit good review, and I don't know why.
I've got a lot going on at home. My son just went to college, and my husband just cheated on me.
You want me to take care of him?
No! No.
So this is Mafia Mama, and usually when I hear someone else's opinion on a movie, mine doesn't change. I mean, The Flash, I still like The Flash a lot, and I've heard a lot of crap about that movie. Anyway, I heard someone's review on this movie, and I was like, that's the movie I gave a really good review to. Okay, maybe really good is kind of stretching it, but I gave this movie a good review, but the more and more I thought about it, I was like, this is dog shit. So if you go back and watch my review for this one, it's kind of BS, and because of that, I can't really remember what I thought of this movie. I mean, yeah, it's bad, but at the same time, I'm like, I can't go back and see what I thought about it because that review is BS now. But all I remember is that it was trying to be like a female Godfather, sort of, not really. Oh, what else happened? Oh, she almost got raped at one point until she nailed the dude in the dick with a stiletto heel. Okay, so my number 8 is the most popular video on my channel, and also the most controversial? I don't get it.
Okay, Ruby, have a completely, totally ordinary day. You got this.
Gilman Teenage Kraken. A lot of people agree with what I said about this movie, and a lot of people didn't. And seriously, I don't get it, people. This movie is so terrible. And I even went back and watched a little bit of it, and I'm not even kidding. I hated it more. There's one thing I realized that I didn't realize the first time. No one shuts the fuck up in this movie. It's just like for 90 freaking minutes. How the fuck did we go from Puss in Boots: The Last Wish to this annoying shit? You know it's bad when some people probably think the same thing about the recent Trolls movie, but to be honest, I actually kind of enjoyed that one. But this was just, I don't get it. Like, have your own opinion, of course, but seriously, I don't get it. What, like, how can you like this? It's so fucking annoying. I even had some people write some comments in my fanfiction about this movie, and I'm like, okay, that sounds a little better, but I'm like, I don't see how you can fix this movie, really. How with the Marvels I changed my opinion on Miss Marvel, is there anything in this movie I changed my opinion on? No. So number 7 proves that I'm a total freaking dumbass, because everyone told me not to go see this movie and how terrible it was, because I got to seeing it late, but I still went and watched it anyway.
The body and the blood of Jesus Christ.
Body in the blood? Body in the blood?
Catherine.
Body in the blood. The body in the blood. The body and the blood.
Catherine.
The body and the blood. The body and the blood.
So, Exorcist. Believer. You know, I had no expectations going into this movie, and not because everyone was telling me it was terrible, but because I just had no interest in seeing it beforehand. But I went and watched it anyway, and damn, this movie's dull as fuck. And then we get to the ending, and it's like, I'm confused. Is this supposed to be a happy ending, or like one thing happens that's kind of happy, but then there's another thing that's like, that's sad. Is this a happy ending? I've never been more confused with an ending since Quantumania. Like, was that a happy ending, or was that a sad ending? And it was so blatantly obvious that when they kept saying, like, oh, Reagan hasn't seen me in years, it's like, so Reagan's gonna show up at the end of this movie, right? And she did. Spoilers, but do you really care? It's Exorcist Believer. You didn't see it, or maybe you did. It was number 1 in the box office, I guess. Bring me up, believer, believer. I will admit, though, one thing that did get a really good laugh out of me in this movie was body in the blood, 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 body in the blood. That in the trailer was funny enough, but in the movie it's much funnier because she does it more sped up. So I think all of us can agree that last January was actually a good January for movies. Well, besides this movie, and I guess Reincarnated Slime.
They're really doing this? She's throwing it to Michelle. Michelle catches the flowers. You get married next. Your life's all set.
And I grew up wondering if I would be able to stand in front of someone and promise her the rest of my life. And here we are.
It was a reflex action.
Some of you are probably like, what the hell is this? This is Maybe I Do, which is about a bunch of parents, like two couples, and they start banging each other's opposites, but they just happen to have these two kids. Each of them just happen to have this. Okay, let me just try to explain this better. You got one couple, they have a kid. You got this other couple, they have a kid, and then the wife and husband of these two start banging. Then the husband and wife of those two also start banging. But then the two adult kids are getting married, and they're like, we screwed up. That's Maybe I Do. That's probably the worst way to fucking explain it, though. And yeah, this is the worst of the Parents Being the Parents movies because almost nothing happens in this movie. And the only other thing I can remember about it, besides the weird-ass premise, was this one weird line where the two getting married, the girl has the guy grab her boobs in her ass, and she says some really weird line I can't remember. I had to go back and watch my review to figure that out. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna do number 5 and number 4 together because they just happen to have the same actor in the lead role. So number 5 is this.
We're here.
Listen very carefully, or I kill you. Open the glove box. Shoot him.
Why are you doing this? What have I ever done to you?
Dad! His life or yours?
Matt, I'm your best friend.
That's Retribution. And then number 4 is this.
People pay me to look into the activities of its finest citizens. I'm a private detective. The name is Philip Marlo.
That's Marlo. So what are 2 things these movies have in common? Well, obviously one is that they both have Liam Neeson in them, and the other thing is that they are just Walmart bargain bin dumpster fires that got put in theaters for some reason. I think one major difference between the both of them is that Marlo is not that memorable at all. Retribution is kind of memorably bad, mostly because there are some parts where I did get some laughs out of it. Oh, and another thing they have in common is that you didn't see either of them, and if you did, you forgot about them kind of like me. But I will give credit to Marlo that I said in my review that it's like every generic detective movie you've ever seen, but I didn't realize at the time that it was a remake of another movie, but still it's a very generic premise, and everything you've seen in every detective movie, you've seen in Marlo. Maybe the original Marlo's the first one to do it, I have no idea. But either way, both of these movies are terrible, but one's actually kind of entertaining, not gonna lie. Now we made it to the top 3, the 3 worst movies that I saw this year, the most agonizing pieces of shit I had to sit through. Okay, that's maybe not entirely true for number 3, but this movie's still a piece of shit.
Oh my god.
Oh, color me impressed, Mr. Petit. Not petit at all.
So, John Cena was in a movie this year. It was called Freelance. He was the lead role. It was in theaters for some reason, and honestly, I can think of more reasons why this shouldn't be in theaters than Retribution or Marlo. Once this movie started off with a crappy monologue over some crappy stock footage, that's when I knew, oh god, I'm in trouble. And then it doesn't even stop there. We'll have more stock footage throughout, one shot that I swear to God's not even from the same movie, and some of the worst editing in the movie this year right next to the Marvels. But I think out of every movie I've seen this year, this is number 1 for the I just saw that movie because. Hell, I wasn't even reviewing movies at the time that this came out. Well, okay, I was doing short reviews, and there is one for this movie, but yeah, there was no point in me almost seeing this. Wait, I kind of said that wrong. There was almost no point in me seeing this piece of shit. Oh, number 2. Oh, number 2, number 2, number 2. It's number 2. And some of you might be shocked to see that this movie is only number 2.
We're going to Greece.
Oh, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. And by we, I mean the whole family.
Who wants souvlaki?
Paging souvlaki. Anybody by the name of souvlaki on this flight?
Wait, what? There's a movie worse than My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3? Yes, and we are going to get to that. But holy shit, people. Every time someone has asked me this year, what is the worst movie? I don't even let him finish that sentence. I'm just like, My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. There is no movie this year. Okay, there's one movie. There's no movie this year that is worse than My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. Holy shit. I was not expecting to go in and hate this as much as I freaking did. My video for this movie goes on for 17 minutes where it's just me ripping this movie a new one. And the more and more I thought about it, the more and more it just pissed me off. And I'm not even that big of a fan of the first one. And if you are, cool, but again, you're not gonna get into this dog shit. And here's a good laugh for you. At the theater I work at, I remember someone coming out of this movie being like, oh, I really liked it. That's not the funny thing. The funny thing is, she was like, oh, I can't wait for the fourth one where the daughter gets married. That shit ain't happening. I will make damn sure of that. But no, if you haven't seen my review of this, go check it out. It's one of my favorite reviews on this channel. We're at the #1 movie. The worst movie of the year. Which, okay, to be honest, Big Fat Greek Wedding 3 pissed me off a lot more. This, not entirely, but for so many different reasons, this the worst. And I gotta say, I always love it when it is a movie that no one has heard of. And you may be like, oh, I probably have heard of it. You have not heard of this movie. Trust me when I say you do not know of this movie's existence whatsoever. So, my #1 worst movie of 2023 is...
I think I found the best play I've seen in a long time.
Wait, is this the girl with one arm?
We did not bring her into this world the right way. She shouldn't come out the right way.
Let's call it what it was. An affair.
You have an incredible gift from God.
You think God is punishing you for what we did through our daughter's arm?
What the fuck is this? People, let me introduce you to what is the worst movie of the year, I Can. Yes, there is a movie out there that is just called I Can. And you know what's the one thing that really pissed me off about this movie the most? It was the last movie I saw before I took my long-ass break. And, God, I wish I got to talk about this. Because I found my notes back, like my script for this review, and I was like, this is gold. But now I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, my notes I had, some of them were just words, and I was like, I'm trying to remember what the hell I was even talking about with this. So, since none of you know what the fuck I Can is, let me tell you what it's about. Girl. She has one fully formed arm, and the other one looks kind of like this. Like do this, but like turn your hand this way. That's what it looks like. That's the movie. That is I Can, and that is all that happens. Well, here's how that happened. They weren't a couple. There were these two people years ago who had an affair, and that resulted in her. And she's really good at baseball. And this is also based off a true story, I guess. And if you couldn't figure it out, this is a religious movie. And god damn it, these are the kind of religious movies I would like to talk about. Like the ones you would see Brad Jones rip on. But you know how I kept saying My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3 was not a movie? I kind of take that back because I couldn't find any story, any characters, or anything resembling a movie in this movie. Most of what happens is just things. Just things happen in this movie, and that's about it. Like, she injures herself at one point, they go to the hospital, and her dad is like super religious about softball. Like, that is his life. That is both of their lives, actually. And I don't remember. I'm trying to remember what the doctor said. The doctor says something around the lines of, oh, we'll get you back out on the court in a little bit. And he's like, she plays softball. Like, he's offended by that. Then he says something around the lines of, oh, he's probably a golf guy. And he is, like, pissed that he said this. I'm just telling you now, if this movie ever gets, like, a digital or Blu-ray release, well, okay, this would not get a Blu-ray release, it get a DVD release. If it gets any kind of a release on physical media or digital, I will do a video on it because, holy shit, I need to talk about it. So what else happens in I Can? Oh, there's this one part where the daughter is mad about something, and the dad's just like, is that one of those teenage hormone things? Then his other daughter's like, Dad, gross. But the funniest fucking thing to come out of this movie involves the grandma dying. Listen to this. So, there's a scene where the grandma is laying in bed, and she's having a hard time breathing, and she is slowly dying. But here's the thing. When she is having a hard time breathing, it sounds like she's in the middle of an orgasm! Like this! Just... Grandma, you gotta answer some shit. Like, I wish it cut to them in the hospital, and the grandpa, his last words are, "Was he bigger than me?" But she's not listening, so her breath is just like, what? Was he bigger than me? Who is he? Then the second funniest fucking thing in this movie is at the very end, where not only does this movie just stop, like, they had no idea how to start it or how to end it, but we get to the end, and you know how all these religious movies recently have these, like, QR codes at the end so you can buy someone else's ticket? Like Sound of Freedom kind of started this. Here's what this movie does in a very loud voice. Pay for someone else's ticket to see I Can. Make sure people with disabilities and orphans see this movie. I get the people with disabilities part, but why specifically orphans? Why should orphans see this? Maybe they have disabilities, but it was just so out of nowhere that he said orphans. And it's not like someone came out on the screen. No, it was just a black screen with writing on it and a QR code, just this loud-ass voiceover. Oh, and the last thing I want to talk about. So, I mentioned at the beginning of this half that the parents had an affair years ago, which resulted in the girl. Well, the dad in this movie keeps flashing back to that moment, but it looks like it's from a totally different movie. So we go from this, like, wholesome religious movie to this fucking thriller that looks kind of like True Detective or something. So, that's the best I can remember about I Can, the worst movie of 2023. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to my channel, like this video, turn on the notification bell, and I'll be back soon with the best of the year list. See you then.